The third swear. وَشَاهِدٍ وَمَشْهُودٍ. Allah swears by the witness and what is being witnessed. Who is the witness? And what is being witnessed? Yes. Allah is the witness. The believers are witnesses of what's happening. And even the oppressors are witness. Everybody is seeing what's happening. But there's one thing that oppressors are great at. They are great at propaganda. They are great at lying to the public. Fir'aun is the greatest case study of this in the Quran. A great case study of doing something, oppressing people, but then telling everyone, I am the advocate for human rights. That's what Fir'aun does in the Quran. Me, ما أريكم إلا ما أرى وما أهديكم إلا سبيل الرشاد. I'm showing you the correct way. I'm showing you the moral way. I am the champion of rights and human rights, guys. Fir'aun is telling this to the public. This is what oppressors in history have always been known for. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَشَاهِدٍ وَمَشْهُودٍ. I swear by every witness. Every pair of eyes on this earth, they belong to me. And I am the greatest witness. Later in the surah, Allah uses a name to describe Himself. Wallahu ala kulli shay'in shaheed. Allah is shaheed. He is the greatest witness. Where do we see witnesses? In which context in this earth are witnesses called upon? In a court of law to serve justice. When Allah is swearing by witnesses, it is to indicate, in this world, you will have injustice. But there is a day in which all the witnesses will gather in my court. Everyone who saw what was happening will gather in my court, and justice will be served. Injustice hurts us. It pains us. We cry over the pictures, over the images, over the videos, over the tweets, over the news of what's happening in parts of the world that are severely, people are oppressed, dying, being bombed, being shelled, only because they say La ilaha illallah. And the injustice kills us on the inside. Use this feeling that you have, and remember what Allah is telling us now. وَشَاهِدٍ وَمَشْهُودٍ. There is a witness, there is a court of law. If the International Court of Justice does nothing, if the local courts do nothing, Allah's court will have the final say. Allah takes 3 qasams, 3 oaths, to make a point. The point Allah is making actually comes towards the end of the surah. When Allah says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ. Allah is saying, I swear by the sky, I swear by the promised day, and I swear by the witnesses here that all those who are being burnt and chopped and sliced and killed for no reason other than their iman, I have promised them they will have paradise, gardens beneath which rivers flow. Allah takes He swears 3 times to prove His point. And then Allah begins to narrate a story. This story, we don't know who exactly the people are. We don't know exactly where is it set, what time, what date, how long were they there. We don't know all the details, but we know one thing. It is the story of every oppressed nation on this earth. It is the story of the Palestinians. It is the story of the Syrians. It is the story of the Iraqis. It is the story of the Afghanis. It is the story of the Iraqis who were conquered and destroyed, and 1 million of them killed by the Mongol invaders led by Genghis Khan. It is the story of every people that are ransacked, pillaged and murdered only for one reason, for La ilaha illallah. Allah begins to narrate the story. قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ. The people of the trench were killed. This is a very strange way to name these people. When you have a nation, you name them according to where they are from, the land they are from, Palestine. But Allah here is naming them according to the way they died. The story of these people is that these are people who believed in Allah. But their king, their tyrant, their dictator said, whoever says La ilaha illallah, I will put them in a trench, I will dig a hole, a pit, I will put them there and I will burn them alive. And I will sit on the sidelines watching. This is the story. Allah doesn't call these people by the land they were from. Syrians, Palestinians, we don't know where they were from. Allah doesn't call these people according to their family name. Khans, Bakris, Owaisis. We don't know who they are, which family they're from. Allah has named them according to the place and the way they died. Ashabul Ukhdud, the people who were burnt in the trench. That's their name. Because they may have had many identities, ethnic identities, tribal identities. They may have had professions. Some may have been tailors, some may have been barbers, some may have been locksmiths. All of these identities don't matter on the Day of Judgment. Only one thing matters: how did you die? That is how you will be raised. Allah actually honors them by naming them the people who were burnt alive for my sake. This is the greatest honor they can have. Because by that Allah has promoted them from locksmith to person who will be living in the highest rank of paradise. From whatever ethnic identity they have, whichever country, whichever passport they hold, Allah has upgraded them. It doesn't matter who you are. You are a shaheed. You have died for my sake. You will have a very special status in paradise. How did they die? Allah begins to describe. النَّارِ ذَاتِ الْوَقُودِ. A fire was lit with coal and fuel underneath. إِذْ هُمْ عَلَيْهَا قُعُودٌ. The king and his crew sat on the side, enjoying. It is not just that they wanted to burn these believers alive, they wanted to enjoy watching it as well. وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ شُهُودٌ. And they were shuhud. In this surah 4 times this word comes up. Shahidin wa mashhud, shuhud, shaheed. Allah keeps mentioning this word in different contexts to make a point. Everything is being witnessed. There was no CCTV in those days. There was no recording, no news, no TikTok videos, no first-hand witness evidence, no. But Allah was witness. They were witness. The people dying were witness. Everything will be brought to forth on the court of Allah on the Day of Judgment. They were witness to what they were doing. وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ. What issue did they have with these people that were being burnt alive? إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. The only problem they had, and the only problem people have with the Palestinians, and the only problem that was there with the Iraqis and the Syrians, and when the Mongols invaded, and when every country and every nation invaded the believers, it was only for one reason. Why do they say La ilaha illallah? It is under the guise of this iman that the believers are attacked, killed, threatened, bombed, burnt alive. Allah ends this ayah by describing 3 of His names. Allah, Al-Aziz, Al-Hamid. This surah teaches us, if you want to get through this situation, if you are an oppressed Muslim, or you are witnessing the oppression, the most important way for you to get through this situation is for you to know Allah. In this surah is the longest passage in this 30th section of the Quran, the longest passage describing Allah in this surah. Aziz. What does Al-Aziz mean? Can anybody tell me? Mighty. Anything else? Al-Aziz. What is Izzah? Respect, honor, dignity. What is Aziz? The one who is never beaten. This is the most accurate translation. Al-Ghalib. Al-Aziz is one who can never be overcome. There was a time, this is what we used to say about Roger Federer in tennis. He had a good streak for a good few years. Nobody could beat him, any Grand Slam, it wasn't happening. There was a time this was said about Manchester United. Was there a time? I don't know, I'm not sure. May Allah grant them a time one day. The one who overcomes and no one can ever beat. This is what Aziz. And the one who possesses honor. Because when you look at people being chopped up alive, burnt alive, you think, what kind of a humiliation is this? These are the people of Iman? Allah supporting these people? Look at that child. Look at how he's trembling. These are the people supported by Allah. Allah is telling you He is Al-Aziz, the source of honor and dignity. Your definition of honor is not His definition of honor. His definition of honor, you will see on the Day of Judgment, when people will be sitting on thrones in paradise. That is the honor that Allah gave them.